gonna talk about today? What brings you to therapy?
Oh, I'm looking at you.
What are you looking at?
Because you want to come to therapy, and I agree.
Let's see. I guess just to talk about
the abuse that I go through on a daily basis.
The normal communication, just like what you said. Oh, well, you wanted to come, so.
Oh. I try to be supportive, so whenever she wants, I'll back her up.
Even if it's something you don't believe in?
No, of course not.
So that's not true, so then you don't do that.
What do you mean by something you don't believe in?
Well, she just said I try to back her up, so, but it's like, either if you don't want to do something, then let's not do something. Don't try to back me up if it's something that you don't want to do. That's what I mean.
But in a relationship, you have to give, you take. Because she does a lot of things for me that she doesn't want to do, and then later I find that she doesn't want to do them. She tolerates them.
That's true.
So when I do it back for her, she doesn't like it.
That's true.
So it's like double standard.
Yeah. So what do you think's behind that?
What? No, that's about you. She's asking you questions.
Oh, her. I try to make her happy. She doesn't like me to throw it back in my face.
How do you throw it back in her face?
It's unfair for you to do things for me, but I can't do the same for you.
Okay, well, can I have an example so I can better understand the context of the situation?
She'll come hang out with me and my family, but she'd rather go to New York by herself sometimes just to get away, but I can't join or I can't accompany, or it's like something I want to do with her and her family. It's because it's different because it's she's in New York and my family's here, but I want to do stuff for her with her family. Like I'd rather go see her family. I'll take time off, and she doesn't want me to do that. So she gives me a hard time.
So how does it feel hearing her say that?
Interesting. How does it feel?
How does it feel?
Truthfully, I'm not really feeling anything about it because it's just, personally, I'm all about if you don't want to do something, if you don't want to tolerate something, or if you're not comfortable doing something, then you shouldn't have to. And that's just my thought process on it.
So are you uncomfortable having her go to New York?
No, not at all. I am totally okay with her staying at work and getting her stuff done and making sure that she's good at work. And because I know in the military it's really hard sometimes to get time off, especially when you're in charge. So I'm okay with that, and I'm like, well, it's fine. I'll see my family. It's not going to hurt my feelings that you have to stay at work. That's more where that comes from.
Does it hurt your feelings that you have to stay at work?
No, it's my dad. But she'll make comments about how she wants to go spend time with the family because her parents are older than mine. And then she'll sit here and make comments about holidays or something about how she doesn't want to go spend the holidays with my family. And I already know how the process is going to go. And you already know what I'm going to say. So I have to tell her way in advance that, hey, we're going to have Thanksgiving. So for months I'm going to listen to how she doesn't want to spend Thanksgiving with my family. And then at the very last minute, she's going to be like, okay, I'm going to go.
So what's behind the not wanting to spend Thanksgiving with family?
You asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a list. It's not just Thanksgiving, it's just general, anything, like going out to dinner, conversing. One, her family's very racist, and they make comments about owning slaves.
One time.
Okay.
A genealogy thing.
Okay.
Jeez.
They told her she couldn't date black people. That's another racist comment. And so they also made comments about Hispanics. Not necessarily, I don't think they believe that they're racist. I don't think that they believe that that is who they are. But to me, they're very uncomfortable to be around. I'm a very direct person,
Yeah.
and I struggle in that environment to be nice to them. And rather than cause her some kind of issue, because they're not going to retaliate against me, they're going to retaliate against her.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be around them because I do not like their ideals. I do not like how they treat people, including her. I've seen how they're just mean and cruel. Like they say the most awful things
Yeah.
about people, and I'm just like, what? The first time I met her mother talked about how horrible it was that the cousin didn't hug her the right way. Who the hell talks? Like, what does it matter? She's like, well, she didn't hug properly.
What's the right way to hug?
Beats me. And then there's because we're doing a list, and then there's the whole you have to keep whatever we give you, no matter how you feel about it, and you have no choice in the matter.
What do you mean keep whatever we give you?
So we came back from Germany. We opened her storage unit, and it was full of things that they gave to her, but she had no knowledge that were in there, and we're not allowed to get rid of those things.
Sounds like boundaries.
Exactly. So, and then the more we see them or the more we visit them, the less boundaries they have.
Yeah.
So, I struggle with that because I have no issues being like, listen, this is not going to happen. Look, we're not going to do that. We're going to throw this out. We're not going to keep this. However, to save her grief, and because she honestly does not want me, she has told me she does not want me to cuss her parents out. I'd rather not be exposed to them because I don't want to create that kind of issue,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So that's
Have you wanted to cuss her parents out?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mainly, not because of the things they've said to me, because I'm just like, whatever. But mainly because of the way they talk to her. And I know that's not my issue. I get that. But I still love her, and I still want to protect her, and I still think it's fucked up
Right.
that they have a 31-year-old daughter who, I forgot her birthday, I'm getting in trouble for that, 31-year-old daughter that they can't even treat like an adult. But yeah, that's not my issue at all.
So how does it feel hearing her say these things?
I've never heard before.
I mean, could you look at her and talk back about how it is?
Someone's just being very good, just a look at you. I have to look at her.
I mean, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Will this help?
Again, like, it's nothing I've never heard before from her.
So is what she's saying about your family true?
I believe she likes to exaggerate.
Okay.
So yes, my parents, when I was being raised, said that I couldn't date black people.
Mm-hmm.
There was restrictions with my brother and I about that. It's never been said since we've left the house, ever again. And I brought numerous ethnicities around, and nothing was ever said. So I don't fully think that they are racist in that sense anymore. In their earlier years, yeah, maybe so, because they were very adamant about pressing all their beliefs towards my brother and I. But we kind of rebelled once we left the house. And
What were their beliefs?
they have the gender roles and everything. Like, males are supposed to do this, females are supposed to do this. You're supposed to act this way, a certain way, date people. Don't do certain things, like gender roles. So, those are definitely pressed upon us a lot. And then when it came to dating, the only rule was for dating was you just couldn't date African Americans. And well, people that probably were like the same color. So I think I had a Dominican boyfriend at one point in time, and my parents were like, no, that's black. okay. Because he looked black.
So
But
did you stop dating him?
not for those reasons, no. And then, yes, a parent said one time they, in their family line, they own slaves. They don't sit there and be like, we're slave owners. Ah. And it's very odd. My parents are very awkward. I think that's like the best word to describe them is that they're awkward. My mom doesn't socialize with a lot of people, so she lost her social skills. My dad is the head of the household, so he gets to interact with people, but he interacts with a lot older people around his age, so the lifestyle that he's used to living in, the way he's used to talking, like, they accommodate him.
Yeah.
So, when you get to the newer generations who are like, anti this, don't do that, yeah, it's gonna be offensive, but like, we own slaves, like, I am not white. I hope you know this. And then, being from New York, you know, say anything I don't like in New York and they just snap back, so having her sit there and be calm, it just means like, I could hear more of it when I get in the car, like, oh my god, like, right. My parents, they don't understand what they're doing. They don't get that, you know. I don't think they see me as being Hispanic or of color. I think they just see me as their daughter. So I think some of the comments that they make, they don't really understand the effects of what it does.
What is their culture?
They're Caucasian.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both from Texas. One was born in Lubbock, the other one was born in Oklahoma, and then was raised in Texas. They're both
Okay.
from northern Texas. So the town that they grew up in, the area that they grew up in, there wasn't any black people. Like, none. And then, you know, lesbian, gays, homosexuals, that was pretty uncommon back in the day. You didn't do that, you did it. So
Yeah.
my father doesn't believe in it. My mother doesn't really believe in it, but they're coming around to it. So some of the things that she said was accurate, and some of the things I just think she's accurate.
So do you think they might maybe treat her differently because she's a girl and you're a girl and you're having gender role crisis?
I don't think they treat her differently. The way that they treat me isn't anything I'm not used to. So in her culture, I can see on her side how they disrespect me, how they belittle me, how they do, they don't treat me as an equal because in her culture it's different. And my culture and the society that I was raised in and the lifestyle I was raised in is different. So I think this culture is.
What do you mean, treat you like an equal?
So being with her family and being around like Hispanics and whatnot, they don't look down upon each other. They just talk, they have regular normal conversations, they can go back and forth, they can have opinions with each other, they can curse each other out and tell each other shut the fuck up, like, that's how they are. What I grew up in, if I did that, it was like blasphemy. So where she was allowed to voice her opinion and be like, no, I don't want to do that, I would get hit for that.
Yeah.
So it's like two worlds are clashing together.
Yeah.
So when she sees my world, she was like, oh hell no, I see her world. I'm like, hey, that's cool.
So going to see her family is something that you would love to do, just to have that other
I mean, I don't mind it.
culture
Yeah.
for you to be open.
Yeah, it doesn't bug me.
Voice your opinion.
And it doesn't bug me. It's just she'll make comments about how she wants to spend more time with her family, so I'm like, okay, let's do it. And she'll say no. Why not? Well, we can't do it because of money or time off or work or whatever. There's always some excuse. But I'll sit there and be like, I'm willing to, do whatever I have to help you get there, and it's always no. And I don't like that because I don't want later on down the road to be, I should have spent more time with my family, and now they're not here.
Why don't you ask her why she says no?
Why do you say no?
Number one reason, financial obligations. And that's it. That's the only reason it has.
Hello, Dr. Stanford. How are you doing today? So after reviewing this video, I noticed this was the first session. So we were dealing with alliance formation and the validation of the partners while looking for negative cycles of interaction or common problems of conflict. What I noticed is that there is a pursuer avoider or attack withdrawer. The pursuer is on the left hand side and the avoider is on the right. We talked about gender roles, talked about money, talked about in-laws, talked about making excuses and for the in-laws and the acceptance of ridicule from the avoider's family. There's criticism and defensiveness. There is withdrawing emotionally from the avoider. So if this in fact is the pattern of interaction, even though it is a hot topic issue, then we have a pretty good basis for how this couple interacts and can bring awareness to the underlying emotions that this couple might have whenever one pursues and one avoids. So, yeah, pretty good stuff. Hope you enjoy and have a good evening.